Check it out.
Yo, what is happening? Welcome to Check It Out. My name is Hamish. Welcome to my living room. I just thought I'd do this little, I guess it's kind of a podcast sort of thing, sort of vibe. Just me in my living room, on my couch, just chatting to you about things that I like. Shows that I'm watching, movies that I'm into, video games that I'm into, current events, just anything that I find interesting that I would like to share with you. So as I said, my name's Hamish. You can, boom, there's my Instagram. Go give me a follow there. I make YouTube videos. Well, I've been trying to make YouTube videos, little vlogs. So far, only my 5 friends have been watching it. So thank you for watching this right now. I also design some merch that you can check out. There'll be a little video plug for that at the end. But first of all, I just want to let you know what we're doing tonight. So tonight there's a video later on about these crazy people protesting the coronavirus lockdown, literally protesting out in the streets, hundreds of them, which is pretty silly if you ask me. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit. So this little video we'll be reacting to from Reddit. And then at the very end, I'll share with you this video game that I'm obsessed with right now. And I actually have been obsessed with it since 2005, I believe, when it came out. So I would have been in grade 4, I would have been like 10 years old. 14 years I've loved this game. So I'm telling you about that at the end of the video. But first and foremost, I want to show you a trailer to a movie that I watched for the first time last week. Now, this is a foreign film, and it's on Netflix, believe it or not. I've been wanting to watch it for ages. I thought I was going to have to watch it illegally. But the movie is on Netflix. It's from a studio that you might have heard of. It's called Studio Ghibli. What's the guy's name? Hayao Miyazaki, famous Japanese director, animated movie. But it's not exactly for kids. It's more got a mature adult tone to it. Real awesome futuristic film, but it was done in the 80s before Miyazaki established his Studio Ghibli. This was one of the first films he directed, and it came out in the 80s, but it still holds up today, and I was blown away by it. I watched it on Netflix the other day, and I'm trying to get my wife Meg to watch it, but she's number one, not really into sci-fi stuff, and number 2, she thinks it's a cartoon for kids. But babe, it's for grown-ups. She's in the next room. I love you, babe. Okay, no response there. But yeah, I'm going to show you the trailer. It's a little bit retro, a little bit daggy, but it's fun, and I highly recommend it. Okay, let's go. I'm going to put my headphones on here. Okay, let's check it out. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. That's a fire beat. I could rap over that. Yeah.
に覆われ、巨大生物オウムが支配する滅亡寸前の未来世界。清らかな風の吹く風の谷に、心優しい少女ナウシカがいた。人類は残り少ない資源を争って戦い合い、そのためにオウムの力を利用しようとしていた。
Beautiful animation. Every frame hand drawn. I love this old style.
オウムを怒らせないで。オウムが怒ると世界は滅びる。
So groovy.
すべてを慈しむナウシカの愛と勇気が燃え上がる。詩純な愛と冒険にあふれたスペクタクルロマン、風の谷のナウシカ。
Look at that graphic design as well. Nausicaa. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, so Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Old film. Fantastic film. Think Avatar. Think Pocahontas a little bit. Although there's a later Studio Ghibli film called Princess Mononoke that's a little bit more like that. It's got lots of themes of like, protecting the environment, that sort of stuff. Let's see if I can lay out a little bit of the plot, a little bit of the synopsis just off the top of my head. It's a little bit foggy. I've only watched this movie once and it was a few days ago. So basically it's like a post-apocalyptic future, okay? The world was pretty much destroyed in this event called, I think, the 7 Days of Fire. There's these giant man-made monsters that cause it's like a nuclear war, and the earth is scorched. It's destroyed pretty much, except for a few little groups of people that restart. And this is 1,000 years after that apocalyptic event. So mankind has kind of moved forward in a lot of ways, but in a lot of other ways, they're still like holding on for dear life, for survival, right? And there's these jungles across the planet called like toxic jungles. I think in the the translation, it's Sea of Corruption or something it's called. I watched the English dub, so that trailer, it was all in Japanese, but the one I watched, the one that you can watch on Netflix, it's all got English voice actors, and it's actually quite amazing. Really, really good job that they've done. Some familiar names, if I'm correct as well. Anyway, so there's like this toxic jungle that's evolved over the last 1,000 years, and there's these giant insect creatures. You saw, I think they're called OHMN, something like that. These big insect creatures that are like buildings. They're tall, they're ginormous. They have these incredible eyes that go from blue to red when they get enraged, right? And they've basically like crushed the whole planet, and they just topple over buildings and destroy cities when they get enraged. And they're kind of like the protectors of this toxic jungle. And humans, when they enter these toxic jungle areas, they have to wear face masks because it's toxic, and after 5 minutes they die. And there's this character, Nausicaa. She's the princess of the people of the Valley of the Wind, and they live in this valley that's it's right in between the coastline and the toxic jungle. And something about the wind from the coast protects them from the toxic fumes and the toxic spores that come from the jungle. And so they're actually nestled right in this little spot between the coastline and between the jungle. And Nausicaa, she's obsessed with the jungle. She wants to find out how it got there, what its purpose is, and trying to figure out kind of how mankind is to pursue, to go forward. The film is awesome. There's like neighboring warring factions, kind of like warring kingdoms. They get invaded at one point. Nausicaa's valley gets invaded. She goes on this massive quest to, I guess, kind of free her people, but then in the end it turns out to kind of save the planet. There's like a prophecy of a chosen one. She turns out to be the chosen one. That's kind of sorted out in a really neat way. But yeah, it's this grand film. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of dog fights. They got these awesome airships and lots of like aerial dogfight scenes, which are really fascinating. Her ship goes down at one point, and she's kind of in the toxic jungle. For some of it, she's in the toxic jungle without a face mask, so it's kind of like, whoa, a little bit. The stakes are kind of high. And basically she finds out, spoiler alert, but you should still watch the movie anyway. She finds out that the toxic jungle has actually, it's actually not a problem. The plants are not toxic. The plants have evolved to survive in the soil, which is toxic. So the plants are not toxic. The soil on the earth is toxic. And the plants have evolved to get the nutrients and the toxicity from the soil. And when the plants die, they somehow get rid of the toxicity. I forget quite how it works because I've only watched the movie once. But basically, the plants are renewing the earth, getting rid of the toxicness in the soil, and renutrifying the soil, and basically healing the planet. And the enemy, like, there's different human kingdoms that want to destroy the toxic forest. But Nausicaa realizes that the big insects, the however you pronounce them, they're there as guardians of the toxic forest, because the toxic forest is healing the planet. And so it's a bit of a like heal the planet kind of environmentalist sort of theme there, which is a little bit cringy, to be honest. But the way it's delivered is fantastic. The way it's delivered is awesome. And it's got that sci-fi, really cool edge that I love. So check out Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. I cannot highly recommend it enough. Now, I teased that I was going to talk about another video that I found on Reddit last week. As you know, the coronavirus thing has spread and is really attacking the whole planet. And if you think about it, it's kind of tied in nicely with the theme of Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind. It's a little bit of an apocalyptic event happening right now. But I found this video on Reddit the other day, and let me tell you, it blew my mind. The caption from the person who posted it, they said something like, "This video broke my heart." And it's these people in America, God bless them, love the Americans, who are protesting the lockdown rules. Now, each country and each state in each country have their own specific rules, so I'm not sure the extent of the rules in this location in America. But in Australia, it's pretty tight right now. We cannot hang out. We can hang out with our family, obviously, because like we live in the same household. But you cannot hang out with more than one other person. So gatherings are restricted to 2 people, which is pretty insane. But we can still go shopping and all that. But these people, they're out in the streets in the masses, hundreds of people protesting the lockdown isolation rules. So let's have a look at that video. It will break your heart, but it's pretty incredible how stupid some people can be. Okay, let's check it out.
There's no pandemic. Media is the cancer.
People are going to die. They die no matter what.
Wow. What just happened? Okay.
There's no pandemic.
Let's try that again.
Media is the cancer.
People are going to die. They die no matter what.
I need a haircut. Yes. That's great.
For heaven's sake, open the barber shops. Open the hair salons. We need haircuts, okay? We gotta buy food. We gotta go to work. We gotta provide for our families. When it comes to the pandemic, are you scared at all? Do you believe in it?
Yes,
Oh, yes, I believe
we
it's
sure
real.
do.
Yeah.
Exactly, it is real.
They still believe it, and yet they rock up.
We have a higher power that we believe in that takes care of us, and I know that it's a real thing. The pandemic is a real thing, and we do believe in that.
It's not
But
fake,
we want to work. We want to work. We don't want a government handout.
Almost none of the street protesters Thursday wore masks or physically distanced, as the CDC recommends.
No, we aren't. We're not scared of this virus.
God bless America.
Where's the circus? It's in that building right now. Where they're pretending that we need a social distance. Where they're pretending we need masks. They should wear the mask.
We are innocent until proven guilty, which means we do not need an immunity certificate. We do not need a test to prove that we're not vectors of disease and out walking around.
That analogy does not work when it comes to staying healthy.
So we can make our own health. You don't need to be our deciding factor when we go to the doctor. We can't get to the doctor right now because you got it all clouded up with corona. It's not all about corona. It's about cancer. It's about all these other diseases and all these other illnesses. People being put on hold for surgeries and stuff because you need to open it back up and let us be our own choice, our own voice.
Can I see the back of your vest? This is Bikers for 45. He's the president of the Minnesota chapter.
if you can't make the choices for yourself, you no longer live in a free country. And right now, we do not live in a free country. We have to wait for permission from the government at many levels to be able to do something. Go out of the house, go shopping.
It's to keep you
gather
alive,
in
brother.
groups of 10 or more.
Insane. Dude. What the heck? Oh my gosh. Boo you, woman.
Example, we had a church gathering here in Kansas that had 50 people infected, 6 deaths, and they went to 9 counties so far, and with the illness, and have been that's how the spread occurred.
Have you considered the health ramifications of being in a large group of people?
Yes.
And that doesn't change your mind?
No.
Why do you think the doctors are saying that?
They don't have any choice. Of course they have to say that.
Bruh, they're holding the microphone with a broom. Wow, that's crazy. So you can check that out on Now This. I think it's on their YouTube channel. Although that looked like it was in a square resolution, so it might be on Instagram or something. But yeah, that video blew my mind, and particularly the I think it was a mother and a daughter. It looked like, or maybe they were just friends. Maybe I'm being ageist. But the 2 women that were talking about, like, you know, the interviewer asked them, "Are you nervous about being out here? Like, do you know the risks?" And they're like, "Yeah, we know the risks, but we believe there's a higher power, and we believe that God's gonna keep us safe and whatnot." And you know, I'm a youth leader and I'm a school chaplain, so obviously I'm a Christian, and I believe, yeah, I agree, there is a higher power that can protect us and can keep us safe, and He does want the best for us. But it's really stupid to not think about what the professionals are saying in this scenario. You know, if you are sick, you're going to take the medicine prescribed for that sickness, and then you're going to pray and trust that God is going to help the medicine, work your body back to health. And, you know, if you need surgery, you're going to go to the surgeon and you're going to pray to God that He directs His hands and that the surgery goes as planned. And, you know, if the health authorities are telling you to stay home, then you stay home and pray for the people of your nation rather than acting like fools and, you know, endangering your family and putting others at risk by gathering in mass gatherings out in the streets. So it's really, really silly. And, you know, there's a few like semi-legit points that they brought up in that video, but when you look at it in the full perspective of the big picture, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. There was that bikie guy that was talking about, oh, well, the hospital is getting crammed up and people who need cancer treatment can't get the help that they need. And yeah, that's true, but what are you asking that the government snaps their fingers and gets rid of the coronavirus straight away? Like, they didn't put it there. They're just responding to a crisis that is already happening. And yeah, there's going to be some inconveniences along the way. It was funny, I heard someone said the other day, they were asked, because obviously we're doing church online now, and so we watch a video content on YouTube and then we do a Zoom chat, and someone was asked how they think the Zoom chat is going, and they said, oh, well, I much prefer when it's in person. Yeah, obviously, you know, we would much prefer the coronavirus not to affect us, but the fact of the matter is it's here, whether you like it or not, and it's going to affect the way you live. And that can be really difficult for some people. I acknowledge that. That can be really difficult for some people. For me, I'm doing pretty well. We're actually having a good time together. But you got to acknowledge that there's consequences for the natural order of things, and if something crazy like this is happening, it's a pandemic that's gone across the whole world. Like, that has not happened in my lifetime. That has not happened in my grandparents' lifetime. So this is a big deal. This is a worldwide thing. It's not your government's fault. You know, they're trying to keep you safe. They're trying to keep you healthy. This is an unprecedented event in our lifetime. And so you just got to keep safe. You got to follow the rules and keep it safe, fam. So stay at home. There's also some isolation hoodies and shirts that my wife and I made that you can get on the store, and I'll plug that a little bit later. But stay safe. Do not be stupid, fam. Okay. Now, to finish up, I'd like to talk to you about my favorite video game in the universe. It's a game called Dragon Quest VIII, The Journey of the Cursed King. It originally came out in 2005 on PS2, PlayStation 2, by a company called Square Enix. It used to be Squaresoft and Enix, but they merged together. You might have heard of another game that they've made called Final Fantasy, a massive series, even out here in the West. They are a Japanese-based software producer. And Dragon Quest actually came out before Final Fantasy, and it's kind of like the granddaddy of Japanese role-playing games, Japanese RPGs. And I love this game. I found this game I think it was in a K-Zone magazine for kids back in the day in like 2005 or 2006. And I read the magazine and I saw the screenshots from the game, and it looked like a Dragon Ball Z ripoff. Turns out it's actually done by the guy Akira Toriyama, the guy who made Dragon Ball. And so all the art is done by him, and it's a fantastic game. I'm going to just put up some of the footage of it here. Now, this is the mobile version, which this is why I felt inspired to talk about it, because I recently got the mobile version. You can play it on PS2, and then a few years later, they brought out a 3DS version with all these, expanded dungeons, extra content, all this cool stuff. And they've brought out this mobile version. The mobile version's been out for a few years now, but they've done some updates and some patches on it to make it a bit smoother. Originally, when it came out in 2013, or it might have even been earlier, I was looking at it and the reviews were really bad. It was really laggy. Frame rate was terrible. But now it runs so smooth. On my Oppo, I've got my Oppo phone here, and it runs so smooth, like incredibly smooth. No problems there. So a little bit of history. I started the game in 2006 when I was like in year 4 or year 5 or whatever. Amazing game. Love it. It's got this beautiful orchestral soundtrack, live orchestra soundtrack. It's gorgeous. Like on the PS2 version, on the mobile and the 3DS version, it's like a MIDI version of the same songs. So it's electronic, not as good, but the PS2 version, I cannot sell it higher. Just on the soundtrack alone, the orchestral soundtrack alone, the voice acting in the English version, amazing. Like some of the best PS2 era voice acting I've ever heard. Usually, game voice acting is a bit cringy, but this has got so much charm to it, You got 4 characters that you meet along the way. You start with your hero, who is a voiceless, mute protagonist. That's him running around there right now. He's getting on a boat, as you can see in the picture there. And he meets characters along the way. So you've got Yangus, who's your first party member that you start off with. He's a bandit. He's rough and tough. And he joins your party when you save him. You actually save him from dying. And he's got kind of like a life debt towards you. Then you've got Jessica, who I think you'll see come up in a second. That's her there. She's using her wizard stuff. She's kind of your mage. She's a bit of a tomboy, kind of go-getter sort of girl, a little bit feisty. And then you've got Angelo, who's your Templar. He's kind of your smooth-talking, chicken magnet type of, a little bit of a douchebag, but he's cool. And basically, your team members, the people in your party, they all have something against this creepy, villainous jester known as Dolmagus, right? Dolmagus, what has he done? He stole this magical scepter from the kingdom of Trodain, from this castle, the castle Trodain. He stole this magical scepter that has a lot of power in it, right? When he stole the scepter, he cursed the whole kingdom of Trodain, and it's like now covered in thorns, like in the castle from Sleeping Beauty. And he puts a curse on the king that makes him look like a toad, and he puts a curse on the princess, which turns her into a horse, right? And you are a guard. You're a palace guard. You play as a palace guard from Trodain who survived the curse. He didn't get frozen into a thorn person. And now your quest is to go and reverse the effects of the curse put on your king, King Trode, and your princess, Princess Medea. And so you gather these party members, and all of your party members have been negatively affected by this jester Dolmagus. He's going on a killing spree. He's going from town to town, killing these people. And you don't know why initially. You don't know why he's killing all these people, but you're following his trail of destruction and picking up allies along the way. And you're on this kind of like goose chase trying to hunt down this guy. Okay, eventually you hunt down Dolmagus. Okay. Oh, this is scene right here. This is the scene on the screen right now where one of the first times you actually see Dolmagus face to face in their game, and he's killing Angelo's adoptive father, the abbot Francesco, I think is his name, or Francisco, whatever, and he kills him. So it's pretty dark. The game gets pretty dark, but you can tell from the Akira Toriyama aesthetic, it's still kind of light, and it's got that Dragon Ball Z sort of goofy humor along the way. But yeah, you eventually track down Dolmagus, and he's in his lair. Oh my gosh, this guy's creepy as. Oh, here we go. Here's an amazing scene. So he's broken into this castle. He's killed. Well, it's not a castle. He's broken into the abbot's residence, and he's killed all the guards. And he's like basically assassinating all these people. Okay, I'll spoil it a little bit. What happens is Dolmagus is not evil in and of himself. The villain, who you think is the main villain the whole time, when you kill him, the curse is not erased. The king and the princess are still a toad and a horse, right? That's because Dolmagus was not responsible. The scepter that he wields, and you can see it right there, the scepter that he wields has the spirit of the Dark Lord Rapthorn. Dun dun dun. This happens a lot in Japanese role-playing games and in anime. There's always a bigger villain behind one that you kill. Just like there's Darth Sidious behind Lord Vader, right? There's always a bigger villain behind the one that you get, right? And you figure out later on that the reason why Dolmagus was going around, or Rapthorn controlling Dolmagus, was going around and killing the people, is because he needs to kill the ancestors of the people who trapped his spirit inside the scepter. Okay, and so now you gotta stop Rapthorn, who's controlling all these different characters. You gotta stop him killing the 7 ancestors, because once he kills them all, he can come back in his physical form and basically destroy the whole world. So yeah, it's a fantastic game. I'm not going to reveal too much more, but it's a role-playing game. You take your turns. It's kind of basic at the start, so if you start the game and you think it's boring, please persist. I know Meg has started one of the Dragon Quest games with me, and she was like, this is boring. The game plays itself. But once you level up a little bit more, go through some dungeons, gain some abilities, each of your party members, they've got their own kind of role that they play, and it becomes very strategic, very tactical the more you go through the game. So I encourage you, pick it up. It's about $30 on the Google Play Store. You can also get it for you can also get it on your iPhone as well. I don't know how much it is there, but I assume it's the same amount. You can pick it up for, I think, $40-50 on 3DS, or I would highly recommend playing it on the PS2 if you still have your old PS2. Blow some dust off it and pick it up on eBay. Really good game, so check it out. Dragon Quest VIII Journey of the Cursed King. Well, I'm going to wrap it up because my beautiful wife Meg, she's making some, what are you making? Pumpkin soup. So the noise is going to get really loud. Thanks, babe. You make the best soup. I love your food. You're the best. I'm going to have her on here in a little bit later in another episode maybe. But yes, thank you for tuning in to check it out. I've been your host, Hamish Luke Peterson. God bless and stay safe. See ya.
If you like this video, check out some of our merch designed by Meg and myself. Tons of cute stuff there, partly tongue-in-cheek and also God glorifying. Head over to tiny.cc/hambo.